I don't
weird.
get Mia. Sorry.
No, she's yeah. I guess she's like you. I think you said like she's kind of not believable. Like, no, I'm not.
Hmm.
She's like too dramatic and over the top about anything. But I guess you could say she's never had emotion. I don't know when you weirdly exist on the edge of the abyss at Castle Fedek, wherever the hell that is. Do you have
You know
like
what?
personalities, or are you just like in the ether like Lasher was, just like not really in existence, or just
Well, you did. I didn't even consider that. You brought up a good point, which is that they made her mortal. So maybe she is feeling emotions for the first time ever.
right?
And
That's
then,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that would make sense. I really, wow, I didn't even think about that parallel to Lasher. That's a fair
Yeah.
point.
I said that while I was, yeah, that came while I was saying it. I was like, oh, that's a good one. Yeah, because Lasher was just, I think he just like he was just, I think he's the one that said like in the ether or something. And he existed when Susanna called him forth. Not Susanna, damn it. Suzanne called him forth. Yeah, it was Suzanne or Deborah. I don't remember which one. Who was first? Suzanne, right?
I think it was Suzanne.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Oh, we're getting off the path there, but yeah, like
Lasher was
so.
a lot more successful.
Lasher had much, I think, grander ambitions, and he wasn't gonna listen to some stupid promises. Lasher,
Yeah,
I feel like had a,
he was the one making the shady deals.
well, that's true, because he had a grand ambition.
Well, to be fair, Mia was doing a shady deal too.
Well, not a good one.
No.
I think Lasher had a younger training period, like a couple hundred years, to like figure out how to deal with these people.
For sure.
Mia was like, "Oh, hey, I got what I wanted." Yeah, well, how did she always want that if she didn't really see? You can't analyze it too much. Like, how is the chap and being? Didn't she say like that's what she always wanted? Well, if you didn't exist until they made you mortal, how did you always want that?
Well, she existed as Mia, as a demon, but that's when I'm like, are there
But isn't
demons who are born to just want to have children? Like, that's confusing to me.
right? Do demons have wants like that, or if she got
Right.
emotions when they made her mortal, is that like
No,
one is?
that want was definitely before, because she said she was going around sleeping with everything that had a prick, not realizing it was because she wanted a child.
Yeah. Until she saw like the perfect child.
She saw Michael.
Yeah, who the fuck is Michael anyway?
My assumption was Archangel, but I don't know.
I mean, that's what I was picturing, and I was like, stop that! Like, I don't know, like a little
But she
baby
said,
cherub with wings, and
she was like, the parents and their perfect baby. And I'm like, who are Michael's parents?
and
Like God?
where did this perfect baby come from in fucking Fedek? Like, as far as I know, this is like a demon place
Well,
where
it is.
to the party.
In my head, it's just like hell. So that's why that's what she's talking about. It's like, I guess, I don't know, but I don't like what. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
No, just along the same thought. I'm like, okay, if Fedek is a version of hell and Michael is like I don't know, but that Michael, I don't know, maybe the name doesn't really mean anything. And I'm like, he's not, isn't he Lucifer's brother? He's not the son of Satan.
Michael?
Yeah.
He's well, they're not. It's not family tree like that. They're all the same. They're the archangels.
No, I don't know.
So Michael and Satan and Gabriel and there's a couple others are all like the same. Satan was just like, fuck you and your rules, man. I'm doing my own thing. Kiss my ass. But I mean, isn't one of the concepts of hell that you never get to see the beautiful, you never get to look upon God's presence or whatever it is? You're denied his view for eternity. Like, oh no. So if that's all hell is, I guess I'm good. But doesn't that mean she wouldn't be able to see Michael if that's where she was? But,
well, that's why I'm confused, because I'm like, Michael is isn't he a good guy?
Where did this perfect baby come from in Fedek, by the way? What the fuck is that?
I
Because
don't
that
know.
FedEx sounds like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the wastelands was FedEx, like that kind of place.
Well,
And
maybe
just
that's the point, though. Maybe that's like it's not supposed to be this little piece of perfection in this horrible place. So that's what makes her realize, like, oh,
this,
this is what I want.
yeah. Still, where did he come from? Is this a human baby? Or
But
did
who
the
knows?
demon like fuck someone in an oracle and just keep the baby? Like, hey, check what I found. Right, you know, when you have sex with humans, this is what happens. Now,
How
how
do you
can we make?
explain Mordred?
Yeah, how can we make it even more complicated? That seems too easy. Roland had told them a few stories of his wandering years. The vampire nurses and the little doctors of Aloria. Glad we read that. That comes up later because there's a thing.
The bugs.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
wondering if there's doctor bugs. I couldn't figure it out. I think
It
they
had
were.
to be. They were singing.
Yeah, they were like looking at him or something. Like, hey, you know, you will be assimilated.
Yeah.
No, they're called doctor bugs, but they're definitely threatening.
Well, I think isn't that like a guise?
Well, they were healing, weren't they? Like they were healing Roland, and the guy
That's
next to him,
true. They have healing properties,
like
yeah.
they like plumped him up to get him ready to be eaten by the vampires.
Yeah.
So they do. I mean, I don't know. Like they do heal, but they also can like just like a piranha. I picture just like strip you down to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like. I think I need more doctor bugs. They're pretty creepy. How Mia could be pregnant when it had been Susannah who caught the fuck was something Susannah was still dying. Isn't it the same body? I don't. Doesn't. How does that? What? That gets confusing and when they're in the Dixie Pig, like suddenly it's like Mia and Susanna are in two different bodies because Mia is like next to her on the table and like Mia's having a baby, but Susanna is not. And like, wait a minute, what the fuck is this
Yeah, well,
about?
that's what I was asking earlier. I was like, did they separate? Like, are they actually two different beings? Because they have the little connecting helmets.
What did she say? It had a brain sucking quality to it.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't have put it on. That's like I picture like a breaker helmet. Although my problem is I saw the Dark Tower movie and that's the helmet that Walter puts on Jake. That's what I'm picturing. Is he's trying to suck his psychic powers out of him. And like Roland shoots him through the portal through like from like two worlds away and saves Jake, and it's a bunch of crap. Anyway, spoilers. That doesn't count. That movie's nobody should watch that movie, and if they are, they shouldn't probably be listening to this. Mono Patricia has been discontinued. I feel bad for Patricia. I feel like she didn't get a fair shake. She got assassinated by her insane cousin.
I mean, we don't know that she also wasn't insane, or maybe they did say that. I don't remember.
I mean, maybe she wanted Pink the whole time, and like Blaine was just like, nah.
Why would she be the only machine that wouldn't go mad?
Didn't she?
Huh?
Well,
I thought she like threw herself off the bridge.
no. She got set up.
Well,
He said that, but I'm pretty sure didn't they say
no,
later on that
he made her do it. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I don't remember back that far.
yeah, like he like cut a hole in the track and she just plunged into the like swamp below or something.
I don't know if it was even that much. I do have, for some reason, I do have it in my head though that we found out that it was said that she did it because she was sad, but then we found out that he actually killed her.
I like how we like applying all these emotions and intentions to computer chips. Like it's just, yeah, Blaine went insane. And Patricia was sad and she was depressed. Like, wait a minute, these.
It's like you accept it though, along with the story. You're like, yeah, well, I mean, the world has moved on. Like, what do you expect?
I mean, and we all know what that means, right? Yeah. And even that, you say that like it explains everything. Like, oh yeah, the world moved. Like, oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
I didn't think of that.
yeah, I can. Yep. Yeah, it's what's the word? Anthropomorphizing machines, right? Did I get that right?
Yes.
I hate that word. Okay. Verbal entry code required. Like, is there any like doubt what that was ever going to be? Sorry, I'm trying to get through this. Guess who Sayer answers to? A man named Walter. I like how Stephen King's like, I have to get to that part.
Yeah.
Just right now. I wasn't fucking for the sex of it or because in coitus I was almost mortal. Okay. Wouldn't that go for all the demons then?
Yeah, it's that trope. Like I've seen that on TV shows where like you meet one demon who's like, I just want to be human. I don't want to be a bad demon. But like, does that actually happen?
I know all the other demons are like, Dad's gonna cut you off if you do this. Like, oh yeah, why is there always this like one random demon? Like he's the run of the litter. Like he was always weird anyway.
It's like Shark Tales for demons.
Yeah, all the other demons are bullying him in the demon play yard, in the Fetic playground. Who was? Yeah, she was like, who was the woman in the street? That was Mia, right? She's like, can you make her disappear? She's disturbingly beautiful.
The shoes with what's her name? Shoes, Trudy's.
No, well, Mia was the one in Trudy's shoes.
No, remember you said it like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah,
saw
the one
a lady in Trudy Damascus's shoes or whatever.
Right, that's Mia, isn't it? That's what I thought. Isn't Mia wearing Trudy's shoes? Or Susannah, or whoever the hell she is?
Yeah, I just assumed there was like she was projecting another version of her. I guess that doesn't really.
I thought
that
she was
all,
herself, and Susannah's like, just make that disappear.
Like, I think we're kind of saying the same thing.
Maybe. He's like, you're too beautiful. It's like, get out of here with that shit. Okay, and Susannah. So Eddie and Susannah kind of talking to each other through the Dogan, and she's like, Eddie's like, hey, burn up the day, give us a chance to catch up and all that. And we're going, how is Eddie sending Susannah messages and only Susannah messages?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Like, if basically all that covert, cloak and dagger shit they did with Deep knowing them didn't matter because Mia knew because Susannah knew. She was like, hey, it's a setup. So how does Mia not know that basically Susannah's just killing time? Oh, maybe she doesn't care.
Susannah even thinks that at one point, but it's like when they're separate in Fetic. So she's like, I don't think she can hear my thoughts when we're like this for whatever reason.
Because that's the way he needed it to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of some Kala information going on here that I thought was interesting. The passages which go under the castle at the end in Fetic. At the end of one is a door that opens on the Kala side of Thunderclap. And then that's the door the wolves use. So the wolves are from, wow, both at the same time. If nothing else, it'll be easy to split this one up into episodes. I did the same thing again. I just looked up and it was like, bloop. Like maybe we're in an hour, isn't it? Weird. when we go over an hour sometimes. I can't remember the rules.
Hasn't been a
Sometimes it
long time.
past an hour, and sometimes it doesn't. So but
Yeah.
like 45 minutes. So anyway, yeah. So the passages to Fedek from Fedek go to Thunderclap, and that's where the wolves come from. So are the wolves from Thunderclap? I mean, not Thunderclap. Fedek. That's what that sounds like, right? Doesn't that make them kind of like demons?
Well,
That's
they're
definitely
robots.
what that sounded like, yeah.
When you're on the other side, it's no longer there because it's not a magic door, right? Wouldn't it have to be a magic door if on the other side it's not there? Like the doors on the beach? Or am I picturing that wrong?
Well, I hear your point, and I agree. I didn't think of it that way.
Magic door. Okay, my note here says, "Whoa, hold on a minute." Magic doors like the one Eddie found and you took me through to New York go both ways. The doors North Central Positronics made to replace them when the prim receded and the magic faded, they only go one way. Okay.
So, like how with Eddie's door in Drawing of the Three, he could go to the beach and go back, like when they were in the gunfight.
No. I get that part.
Right. So
What
with the
door
wolves,
did
they
they?
could go out, but they couldn't go back to Fedek.
Yeah, it seems really inconvenient, doesn't it? They had to take the train back or some shit. But
They do take the
why?
train back.
Well, the kids do, at least. Well, that's what I mean. That's why I said it. Yeah. Um, the doors they made to replace the magic door. Okay, with an ambiguous pronoun. Say the doors North Central Positronics made to replace them when the prim receded. Replace. I thought they're talking about the doors on the beach, but I think they're just talking about magic doors. So
Yeah. Like
there's that
magic.
prim again. Does the prim ever accede? It's always receding. It seems to be a bad thing. I'm not sure why. So
Also, why can't you just do it like an escalator, build another one right next to it that goes the other way?
That
A
would
lot
make
easier.
sense, yes.
yeah, well, yeah. Why does it need to be a door? Couldn't it be a hallway? Couldn't it be a tunnel? Uh, clearly, doors are complicated. Like you need a magical engineering degree for those things.
I mean, I would imagine it's like all, extreme symbolism, but it's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, so they're coming from Castle. Wait a minute. Lady, there's another door under Castle Discordia, another door in the Rooms of Ruin. I don't know what that is. One that goes Todash. Okay, so you can go from this castle to the Kala, and you can go Todash.
Hmm.
Into nothing.
Means exactly. Oh wait, nope.
He said, I think they explain it, Amy, in a little bit, but like basically there's one of the doors goes to Todash or whatever. One of the, I don't remember, passageways or whatever.
He's like Todash. I know the word, but I don't understand what's so bad. Like, well, clearly you don't know what Todash means. There are,
Have you
and
ever
then
seen The Mist? Okay.
he said, well, okay, one more paragraph, and I highlighted there are monsters in the Todash darkness, and then I put a note that said, "Fucking finally,"
Yep.
because we've been wanting to talk about Todash monsters for a long time.
Hmm.
So A, Pennywise is more than likely a Todash monster. B, well, that's all I got for now. So there's monsters in Todash. So every
The guy from Desperation. I think you said
Collie
like
Trendian or whatever the hell his name was. Yes, I think he or whatever was possessing him. Spoiler. Was definitely Todash. And that's
Yeah.
around the time where everything started to becoming about the tower in one way or another, like on purpose, not retrofitted. So I think Kali was definitely a Toadash monster. Because yeah, remember, well, if you remember, he wrote that and Regulators at the same time.
Yeah.
Which we may have to cover in our after Dark Tower. Well, that's just like every book he ever wrote. If you're going to try to do that, but he wrote Desperation and
Regulators at the same time.
Regulators at the same time. Do you guys know anything about Regulators?
I have it. I started to read it and then got like way later.
There's a high probability that there are Toadash monsters in Regulators.
Ah.
In the book, there's a different theory presented, but not sure it's kind of, there's room to interpret.
I mean, the great thing about the tower is that like you can pretty much fit everything into any. So like any of his monsters, you could probably say come from Toadash.
And he even says that in here. He's like, at some point, I realized everything was about the tower in some way or something like that. I was like, no, you definitely took that to heart, no doubt. It's like almost like you can't be a Stephen King fan at this point without reading the tower because you're just missing so much. You can. To be fair, you definitely can. And he has fans that have never read a book in their life. They're just movie fans.
Like if you think about all of the people that enjoy like world connecting, like in Marvel and stuff like that, like that this is like the epitome of that because it's like almost pretty much everything, even retroactively, has a source in the Dark Tower now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, you just don't get it. I mean, you can be happy in your little narrow world, I guess. but like, why would you not? If you're a fan, why wouldn't you? I don't understand the why you wouldn't. It's just too big for some people to like attempt.
That his same
Maybe.
reason or fear of not wanting to write it is the same fear that stops people from reading it.
Too big. That was
yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I was always like, oh my God, there's something he wrote that I didn't read. Where is it? I didn't even care what it was. And then I read the Gunslinger. I was like, maybe I know why I didn't read that.
It gets better.
It does. Thank God. Thank God Gunslinger's not that long either. It's not 600 pages of it gets better.
Yeah.
I will say it did not get any less confusing until like Wizard and Glass. But at least it got better.
Well, you kind of know what's going on, but as far as less confusing, I don't think that ever happened. I think it got extremely more confusing, and there's more to come.
Confusing in different ways.
Well, true. Now you know what's going on. You just can't make sense out of it.
Yep.
Walter, who's good.
Just to touch on something we mentioned briefly, I was looking up a different quote, but it says here there is a direct point where Mia leaves Susannah, like when they're on the operating table. So like she, I guess, becomes her demon form again. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I thought she didn't
belonged to only herself. Mia was gone.
But Mia was having the baby, right? Not Susannah. Or I have that wrong. It was like Susannah was watching Mia, I thought. Or were they both like weirdly having? No, that doesn't work. In the scene, I think it was Mia having it. Clearly not Susannah.
They're both having labor pains.
Right. That's what I'm
but
trying
Mia's
to.
the one that actually like has the kid, or something. I don't know.
Walter of N-World. Sometimes Walter of All World. Great, because that guy needs more names.
Yeah, right.
Walter O'Dim. I actually forgot about that one. I like now, like even Stephen King gave up trying because now his name is Walter/Flag. Walter Flag had come to her in Fedek. Scenic aftermath of the Red Death. Huh.
It's a plague, though. Like, what does that mean? Did it happen instantly?
Is it
Or
a plague?
maybe,
I don't
well,
know what death is. I don't
the
remember.
story of I thought it was like somebody was oh,
Hey Google,
can you hear
what's the
me?
mask of the Red Death? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I cut away for a second, so I wasn't sure if it went away. I thought it was just about someone being paranoid about death getting into the party because there's like I think it was during the Black Plague.
Well, Poe was like the 1840s, which was probably, I mean, it was probably around, but it wasn't like killing everybody like it was. So Google said it's a story by Edgar Allan Poe. I was like, okay, asshole. Hey Google, what is the Mask of the Red Death about?
Oh, it does say it causes in the story it causes them to die quickly and gruesomely. So maybe there was just a bunch of corpses around.
I mean, that would fit, right? Good meals cheap. People in FedEx don't know how to spell. Demon
Yeah, I'm
teachers
like,
are lagging. Um, okay, I'm trying to get out of this and into the Stephen King part. I don't just want to make sure I don't leave anything out. This world was real beyond reality. It was anti-Todash.
what?
What a way to say that. This is Keystone Earth. Can I say that? I think I. Well, too bad. So Keystone Earth is anti-Todash because it's so real.
But Todash isn't fake. I guess
Well,
that's the time traveling Todash that we're talking about here.
no, I think it's the Todash where everything's black and you're there, but you can walk through bookcases and stuff.
That's what I
So,
mean. That's
like,
yeah.
you're there, but you're not there. So in this world, you are really. I don't know how you can be more there in one world than another because
You're
if you can die
there.
all the way there, you know what I mean. Either I can walk through walls or I can't. Stephen King is a twin to the rose. Interesting.
But I'm like, wait, so is the rose not in Keystone Earth?
Well, is the rose in every Earth?
I don't know.
It would have to be. Well, it wouldn't have to be. They made me feel better about it because apparently the rose really protects itself.
Yeah.
Because I hate that thing being all fragile. But so far, everything that's even thought about anything is like, no, rose like, flicks a stem at it and they go away. I like how I don't know what the hell's going on with Spotify today. This is getting fucking annoying.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if we can struggle through. We're almost there. I used to think the most terrible thing would be to reach the Dark Tower and find the top room empty. The God of all universes, either dead or non-existent. Okay, so do we know that? The top room of the tower is where the God of all universes is?
I can't remember if that's been mentioned. I feel like once it was brought up, but
Don't we think somebody else is at the... Allie, you're there, right? Okay.
Allie.
It says connected. Oh, now she's connected twice. That's interesting.
We have a ghost.
I don't know how I did that.
Going 19.
Yeah. It says you're connected, and then it says Amber's connected, and then it says you're connected.
Yeah, well, it's weird. I was in it, and then it was like we're reconnect or disconnecting, trying to reconnect, and it kept doing that.
Oh, it just got rid of your second one.
Oh
Are you
God,
still there?
Can you still hear me?
Yes,
Maybe that was Demon Alley. All this talk created a ghost, a house demon.
God damn it!
yeah.
Someone get the salt.
All right. Where's that guy from Insidious? What's his name? Not Insidious. The That's because we just saw that. Conjuring. Warren, where's Ed and Lorraine at?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know why. So Stephen King is DeRosa's twin. You know, Amber, I think you're. So Stephen King is DeRosa's twin. Yeah, doesn't that make him like the white? And who's again? Who promised the king, the Crimson King, anything? Who like Stephen King? I guess was it gets
What
weird
do you mean?
because he's the writer. He's the one that wrote that the Crimson King was promised something or promised to rule the darkness or whatever the hell that he was promised.
Well, yeah, but according to him, it's not even up to him. It's like, Ka.
He owns God.
That
Say, "Go."
exchange, that was really funny when Stephen King was like, "Don't feel bad, Roland. I made you do it." And then like 5 minutes later, he was like, "I thought
I
you said you
lied.
made me do it." He was like, "Yeah, I lied."
Yeah, what does that mean though? Like you lied. So well, if you didn't make him do it, who did? Because
Along the lines of he's a translator, is what he calls it.
yeah, I guess that's where it's means. He says
Some
that.
might say a prophet. I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's what I basically took it as.
I like the law. Like that's a lot. The law, Eddie said, tossing his open hand.
Yeah,
That means, but I like that word. I want to start
it
saying
means
that.
many.
Right. I'm going to use it how I want to.
You are using it correctly.
Well, no, I mean, you know, moving forward. Somebody's going to be like, hey, can you help me move this computer? And I'll be like, the law.
That sounds like F off. Like the law.
Right. Fuck off. I'm going to repurpose it. He does it too. It sounds funny to talk about the profits of using a dental process to save the universe. Like, it sounds funny that you need money to save the universe, period. But okay.
Right.
We're back on the Callahan, Susan, Susannah, and Suzanne. We can go there. Can we bring some Anne Rice into the mix? There's a lot of Susan stuff going on. They can draw up legal papers that take care of the rose. The rose always stays no matter what. Hell, until the year 19,000. Well, wait, so if you don't write these papers, the rose won't stay? I'm pretty sure the rose is staying no matter what you do.
Or will it?
Well, they keep talking about how it's protecting itself, I'm assuming, but you never know.
Well, I mean, that obviously, yeah, because then that would imply somebody's been continuously writing about the rose since the rose was created.
Yeah. Wait, say that again?
Obviously, I forgot what you said, but that was more
Rose
correct. That
protects itself, something.
right. Because otherwise, then somebody would have to be writing its protection for since it was created, which would be weird.
Well, you could write it backwards, right? You could just write, it's always been protected since it was created. Like, what is that, like Bill and Ted, where they're like, hey, in the future, let's come back and leave us a note in this mailbox so we know what to do. And they open the mailbox and there's a note there, like, swing. It's kind of like that. King was the source of the sound. I don't know what sound he's talking about. Yeah, he's like, Tabby? And I know his voice, obviously, everyone does. So you can, like, when he does that part, you can hear it. That I think he describes it as a high reedy voice when he talks about himself. Tabby, that you? And he's like, oh, whoa, I'm out of here.
But Stephen King was a man, not a bird.
Right, so he didn't fly away or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah, I like how like Roland basically kind of doesn't like him, and he puts his, you know, at the time obviously everybody knows he was like had a drinking problem, and he has it in there just like like it was real. Like it was like, oh god, it's like noon. I need a fucking beer, man. My goddamn shit I made up is talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
But he has like 3 beers while Roland's talking to him. Like, okay, probably not a good idea to go pick up Joe, but it was a different time. So, but like his alcoholism, he intertwined into there. Like that part we know was real. So like that seemed like that is something that he would have done. He went right for a beer. Something stressful like that happened.
Yeah, I do
Smoking
agree.
malls, man, that's hardcore. Those things don't even have filters on them; they're just straight tobacco. My great aunt used to smoke them. I think my grandmother's sister or my grandmother's aunt. I can't remember. She died at like 95, and she smoked 2 packs of Pall Malls and no filter her entire life. I'm like, wow, way to buck the trend. Um, I like how he says he was done one fine drunk night, or maybe I was done up on mescaline. I can't remember. Oh, I wonder what story he wrote on that. What could have been any of them. And
What is
then
mescaline?
mescaline is like peyote.
Oh.
I think it's might be the active ingredient that like THC. Um, I know you can get it without peyote, but it's definitely easy. It's definitely in peyote. Uh,
Yeah, I wonder what story that was.
it's like you guys, yeah, right. I'm kind of picturing it now that I said that. It seems fitting. Um, I mean, you could almost say that about anything from that. Like Christine. No, not really.
Firestarter?
Eh,
I'm kidding.
Firestar was always like a big idea that didn't go where it could have. Like it's almost like he didn't know what
Yeah.
to do with it. I like how he's like, he's asked Eddie, coffee, Mr. Dean. Yeah, coffee will do me fine. Mr. Gilead.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, it's like it's Deshane, Side King. I'll also have the coffee and say thank you. It
Shouldn't
just
he know?
seems right. It just seems so natural. Like it really, like this is like it really happened that way or at all. Um, it was cracks me up. Like let's throw a little bit of humor in there. Like he wouldn't know what the hell. Yeah, like he would know what Roland's fucking name was. I mean, maybe this is what 1977 though, right? So maybe
I
wasn't
think he
Jake Kid?
didn't have his backstory yet.
Yeah, I think when they go to visit him, right, he had only written The Gunslinger at that point.
Yeah. So he just had like this vague idea, maybe, and then it fleshed out from there.
Isn't Jake Kid 77? Wasn't it 77 when he was doing the whole Dutch Hill thing? And he was like
I
looking at himself going to the house, or
think so.
looking at himself following Eddie, and he was Kid 77. I think.
Oh,
What's going
yeah.
on in 77? So the same year Jake comes through is where they go back to talk to Stephen King. I don't know if that means anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize that.
I
Well,
didn't.
except for that means, well, yeah, we know they're not from the same place, but that means that Jake could have been from there.
Yeah, like I said, Jake's the outlier. A dusty black shadow, something swaddled around the man, dim, barely there, like the darkness you saw hiding behind things when you traveled Todash. Okay, when did Eddie see that?
He saw it right then, I thought. Wasn't that the
Yeah.
first time?
No, the things hiding in the darkness when you traveled Todash. I don't know that I remember that.
Oh.
No. Well, I thought I read it more like because when they were in the oh crap, the first time, not the first time. Eddie and Jake were Todash and they were standing outside of the Manhattan Restaurant of the Mind, and they saw and Alini go in and like talk to Tower or something. And he said everything feel like it's sunny, but everything feels dark.
Yes.
And I thought that was
That's
kind
how
of
you know
what he was talking about. Like
maybe.
not the Toadette monsters, but that there's just a darkness around him.
No, that is what he's saying. I'm saying, when did he see Toadette?
My interpretation of that was that, and I don't know if I made this up or going to happen, but that they could hear things briefly while going Toadash, and that was like, oh God, I don't want to fall out of whatever's happening right now.
Or like a traveling through a wormhole kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like yeah. I think that's what it is. That's what I picture, like a wormhole with like things trying to like reach at you while you're traveling through the tunnel, like a gauntlet. I may have said that before. I feel like I did. He didn't even know where the damn Dark Tower is. Like that part, like how much of this? I don't know. I was fascinated. Yeah, the Stephen King part, I was fascinated by it. And at first, I was like, okay, no, I don't know. Like, at a minimum, you better be really careful. But so far, I'm like totally fascinated by it.
Yeah, I have to say, the first time I read this, I felt, again, everything was kind of blinded by my excitement of finishing. So at this point, I was like, this is really weird, but whatever. I just want to get to the end. But this second time reading it through, I actually appreciate it a lot more. I think it's like, well, one, we know it's therapeutic for him, as he's like working through after his accident.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He definitely repurposed that shit, didn't he?
And then it's also just like, I don't know, it's interesting, you know. It's like, talk about meta, and we'll have to see where it goes.
Zoltan was named after a guitarist at the University of Maine. Like that's a cool name. I never knew that. I like that name.
Yeah, there are a bunch of little things like that where I'm like, I hope those are all true, because it's cool, like little Easter eggs.
Like I said, I read them as they were true. So whether they are or not, they are for me, and I don't want to Google it.
Allie, I'm curious, how do you feel about Stephen King inserting himself in the story?
Conflicted. Hold on. Sorry if you could hear Katie in the background, but
Okay.
no, especially leading up to them meeting Stephen King, I was like, wow, this is like kind of big ego to be talking about yourself as like basically their god.
Yeah, that was definitely, I forgot that was like what made me feel so weird about it. I was like, all right, buddy.
Yeah, but I mean, them interacting with him and like reading his reactions and stuff, I mean, that was cool.
Yeah.
So a little bit
kind of a big ego, but I mean,
well,
I had to have a big ego because I mean, Jesus Christ.
Right.
When he was actually writing this in, like real life, I get that he was a big success at that point. So like, I get that's kind of warranted, but at the same time, like, damn.
Yeah, it's a little self-serving, I think, is how I felt the first time. Like, oh, come on, really, dude? Like, I know, like, I'm gonna read anything you write, but come on, just I don't need to, like, I don't need you to be a character. Like, it's like seeing Quentin Tarantino in a Quentin Tarantino movie. I don't know. But
it is very uncharacteristic of him, though. Like, he's such a humble guy. Like, he doesn't want his name on anything that he pays for or donates to.
That's a good point. Like, it's very anti-Stephen King to just make yourself the god of the story. Like, maybe Stephen King would do that, but Steve wouldn't do that. But like so far, I'm kind of fascinated by it, and I think mostly because I don't know because did this actually happen? Well, not this part, but how much of this is real. Obviously, it didn't happen, but there's nuggets of truth in there, and so I'm fascinated by how much of this.
Yeah, that I definitely feel.
And even the part that's not true, like it gives you some kind of insight into his character beyond just the brand. Like I can see him drinking a couple beers at lunchtime when he's stressed out, that kind of shit. Claudia Inez Backman is Dickie's wife, whoever that is. Richard Bachman. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he made. Yeah, I forgot that she was his wife. Is that what you were saying earlier? Yeah. Again, I'm not surprised that he wrote a whole thing. So is Beryl? I mean, I'm assuming he made.
All right. That is the end of the podcast. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.